So if you watch any analytical video from Johnny Boy, Snap 10A, Lawler, if he's doing another team, you see it sometimes in Verge's videos, although highlights usually higher level play. You hear a lot of commonalities of things that people can do better or differently, or improve upon. What's up, Tiger? So a few of the things that I say the most are on kickoffs. So let's say you have a 3-man kickoff that looks something like this, right? So probably going to send that diagonal guy because he's the closest to the ball, and that's the common theme out here. Now the problem is, a lot of times we see second and the third man both go for boost. And what happens there is now we've left this giant lane down the middle of the field where the other team just has a straight angle at the goal, and both the players that are rotating to the boost have to rotate all the way back from the corner to the center of the field. And to me, that's a bad thing. So I would say if we could avoid double boost kickoffs where we send 2 people to the corners to get boost, that'd be advisable. Now, what about the double diagonal kickoff? Okay, so we're probably going to send the left guy because there's this theme of left goes. Oh, damn. Just 1 second. And I'm back. So left goes. It's a common theme in the Rocket League community. Although I would say if you're an RSC or any other team, maybe send your best kickoff guy or send a right guy every once in a while. A couple different reasons. We'll get to that in a second. But if you're very good at losing to the side that you did the kickoff on, it might make sense for this guy to go corner boost. But this guy usually half flips and goes boost anyway, so if he can recover back to net, that would be great. Or maybe don't get the boost and just rotate into the center of the field and collect up a couple pads. I think that's a better option than going double boost. So now reverting back to, what if we send the right guy? What happens here? Well, if they send their left guy, then it's very likely that the ball is going to pinch somewhere along this whole left side. And if you know that the ball is going to bounce hard off that wall, then you can read it as somebody that's following the play or cheating up on the play. If it goes back to the back corner, then this guy can probably grab that up okay. And if it goes into the offensive zone, then you are able to start immediately trying to apply pressure. So I think there's a big advantage to that. Another thing is if you're fast enough on this and you do left go, and you know the other team's going to do left goes, then as long as you get to the far side of the ball and push through before the other player can really hit the ball, you could send this guy to get this mid boost instead, and you can immediately get pressure. It's a fun trick. So the big thing about kickoffs for me is sending somebody on the cheat. That is a terrible box. And what I like is, as the cars are making contact with the ball, for this person to be like somewhere near this circle. I don't want you too far back because then they're going to chip it over your head. I don't want you too far forward because then if the ball squeaks out, you're going to be too late to respond to it. However, if the ball does squeak past you, probably go for a bump on the guy that's cheating or following for the other team. And that'll give your teammate who got boost a little bit more time to get to that ball. Additionally, if the ball goes over your head on the cheat or goes to the far side corner, even though your teammate went to this corner, they've got a very safe and very fast momentum play where they can collect up the ball with the boost that they got and move upfield. You, while you're closer to the ball, can just kind of rotate behind them naturally and grab up some pads along your way. And to me, that puts you in a back post rotation. It sets it up a lot better, and all you have to say is, hey, can you get that ball? That's yours. And I think that's a huge advantage over trying to force a play as the person that was cheating on the kickoff. I said I was going to get to something. I don't remember. Something about kickoffs. Oh, okay. Another thing that I see happen a lot. Let's say you are the person that went on the cheat kickoff, or follow the play, right? You end up in your spot. The ball ends up behind you. This player has the boost, is going to be going for this ball. What should you now do as the person that moves upfield? What I see so often, and it actually bothers the hell out of me, is this person thinks, okay, well, since the ball didn't go to me, now I need to rotate back and go get 100 boost. But you should have like 40. And there's all these small pads around the center of the field. There's no way all these small pads are getting grabbed up. And honestly, if you actually just take a slightly outside path, then your teammate can actually hit you with a pass and you can put it on target or on the backboard. And you can do that with 60 to 70 boost, no problem, maybe even 40 boost. And all you have to do is just take an outside path and collect up a couple more pads. Just that simple. You do not need to rotate all the way back to your back corner boost when your team has possession. Now, if your team does not have possession or your teammate didn't get a good play off that, then you probably don't even want to get to that boost anyway because you need to watch net. You need to hold the center of the field. So again, I see too often the person that follows on the kickoff think that the other boost is designated for them, and that's what they need to do after the kickoff. But what about the person that's on the kickoff? What if they go to get the mid boost and get beaten to it? Then as they rotate back, now you, who were on the follow on the kickoff, have just taken that boost from them too. So it just makes it that much harder for the person that's on the kickoff to get boost, and they should have depleted almost all of their boost in the process of the kickoff. Maybe left with 10 to 12 left or so, maybe 15 tops. But you, as the person that was following, should have like 30 to 40 because you shouldn't have really boosted to get to this point, and you should have collected at least one more pad, maybe two if you were the far back guy. And from 33 plus 24, you're sitting at over 50 boost. So just keep that in mind, that 50 boost center of the field is better than being 100 boost far back and super far away from the play. Alright, so I think that basically covers kickoffs. I think there was a point I wanted to make. I don't remember what it was. If I watch this back, I can maybe... Edge, welcome. Triple boost kickoff. I've seen it. Well, I've at least seen double. And it's the person that takes the kickoff, let's say, is here. It goes back and gets boost here, and this guy's left thinking, I have to go challenge this, and this guy goes gets boost. Sometimes they do kick it, or hit it the ball on the kickoff to this person in the corner, and they can swoop up and grab it. I hate it. I hate seeing people that do it. Sometimes it works out. I'd rather much rather go for the 50-50 in the middle. Because that's what a kickoff is. It's a set play 50-50. Control and dictate the 50-50. You can fake kickoff. There's other things that you can do that kind of guarantee you get the ball to go without threatening an option of them just dribbling and flicking at your net. Alright, so I think we've covered kickoffs pretty well. What's up, Fick? I don't know. We're going to look at a couple different things. Right now I'm just talking about the most common things that I say over. I would say 1 man on front post, 2 man on back post. You have the option of also having 1 man be a little bit more back post and 2 man being on the backboard. That's going to be more viable at higher ranks, where the other team's going to be using the backboard much more effectively and efficiently. And so what the 1 man is doing is covering the low hit, and the 2 man's covering the high hit on the backboard. And then the 3-man, your responsibility is disrupting the play and then eventually rotating back into the back post as your 1-man rotates out. So I would say back post rotation is going to be huge. Being on the backboard for the higher ranks is really great. So 3-man, as you're up here, you want to be able to give an option to your 1-man. So that means you could be over on this wall so that he can pass it off the wall or up onto the wall, and then you can read it and try and make a play and try and make the ball go even further forward into the other team's zone. Providing an option to your teammate is really good. 3-man also can get a demo on a potential shooter, and potentially you want to rotate in behind the 1-man. And when you get into this back post, you can basically be releasing the 2-man to make a play with the 1-man as well. So as the 1-man challenges the ball, the 2-man could be rotating closer into that front post, knowing that the 3-man is behind him, or could move upfield even farther and more aggressively so that the 1 and the 2-man can make a 2-man play to clear the ball out of the field. And that just means that they're basically playing on top of each other, which can seem scary. But it allows you to more effectively clear the ball out of your zone. Because as the 1-man hits it off the sidewall, he might not be there to recover to that ball as fast, so the 2-man can take that over and try and clear it upfield. In higher ranks, you'll just see somebody clear it to the wall, and then they'll pinch it against the wall, and it'll go flying into the other team's zone. You could just do that as a single person yourself, but at lower ranks, having that 2-man help you out and clear the ball through the zone is really handy. But what happens if the 1-man stalls out the ball, and the 2-man comes in to help him out? What do you do as 3-man? Well, what you definitely don't want to do is you don't want to move into this same space. There is this quadrant rule that I think that we should really kind of abide by. And if we don't want to go with quadrants, then thirds of the field even. I think I've seen it drawn like this. Basically, you don't want all 3 people into this space. You might want 1 person here, 1 person here, 1 person here. At max, 2 people into this space. And so, by doing that, you are buying time for your teammates to make the play, and you're covering any mistake that could happen where the ball can pop center, and you can challenge the shot, and you're not out of position. The other thing you can do, if you're this 3-man in this position, is tell your 1-man to rotate and go get boost, your 2-man to try and make the best play they can on the ball, and then rotate out. And then now that they've both rotated out, now the space is open for you to move into it, because both of them are elsewhere on the field. So, not sending too many people into the same space to clear the same ball, especially the same defensive corner. So, let's see. We talked about kickoffs. Talked briefly about back post rotation. I didn't show any examples, but we're going to harp upon it. Not sending everybody into the same space on the field. That includes offensive corners as well. Let's talk about what you should do as 3rd man on offense, and what even is midfield defense. So for 3rd man on offense, you have a couple options. You could be playing behind the ball on whichever side it is on. Let's say it's on the left side, then you want to be in this space, so that you can collect up the boost and make the next play. You're also on the side that's most likely that the enemy team is going to be clearing the ball. And the other thing that you're doing is you're holding a midfield defensive position. So what you're doing is you're preventing the other team from clearing it into your zone. And this doesn't have to be at the midfield line. It could just be just slightly behind. And anytime they clear it, you're just sending it kind of back in into threatening positions, making it difficult on goalies to make saves, and giving your other players opportunities to get redirects or collapse in and get garbage goals. So that's really helpful to them. But as a 3-man, you can also be collapsing in on those garbage goals yourself. And then if the situation is really dangerous and you have both players that went and you're just like, I cannot go on this. The other team is getting possession. They're moving the ball out of the field or down the field. So now we need to start thinking with a defensive mindset. We need to go from the offensive mindset that we were in into a defensive mindset. So what do we do as a third man in that situation? Well, first of all, if you were on one of these sides, you want to move more to the center of the field, so that you can force the play into a specific corner. As the play moves up the field, you want to make sure that they end up in the corner. And what that does is, by putting it into your defensive corner, it buys time for your teammates to rotate back, and it gives them a distinct corner that the ball is in so that they know which side is back post. Hey, we're back to that back post rotation. So now they can fall into a back post rotation. You've become the one man as you force a play into the corner. The other thing to do as three man is to just kind of tap it to the sidewall and keep rotating back on the center of the field. Now, the worst case scenario is that ball bounces back center and the other team takes a ripping shot, and that sucks. That could be a goal. You could say, my bad, I was trying to hit it onto that little bit of a lip so that the ball goes up the wall, or if you chip it into the high part of the wall, you try and get it to hit the ceiling and kind of drop straight down. Keeping it to the side of the field keeps the play slow. But if it does bounce back center, then your teammates, as they're rotating back and see that you have continued to rotate back after you've made that play, they might be able to intercept that ball or get a demo on the potential shooter, which gives you an opportunity to start breathing freely and have an opportunity to move back upfield. All right, what are some other things that I talk about pretty frequently? Offensive spacing. Let's talk about offensive spacing for a second. All right, so we talked about the three-man being kind of supportive of the play, and the one-man is pushing the play into the corner or potentially trying to get the ball center. So who's center? That's the two-man. The two-man's responsibility is to be the shooter in this situation, to do the best that they can to keep the ball as much pressure and read the one-man's play so that they can make the shot. And this could be a drop pass back from the one man to the two man. It could be bounced off the backboard. It could be a hit into the corner that comes across. It could be a shot off the post. It could just be a shot from the one man that gets disrupted by the goalie and the two man comes in and cleans it up. Those are all good things for the two man. I did too far. What do we see also here? We see this triangle shape. Right? I want to emphasize that triangle shape. As the one man rotates out, he's going to take over that three-man role. The three-man potentially could be rotating in, and we can end up with a triangle yet again where three-man's here, one man's here, and two man's here. It's a little bit misshapen triangle, but you know, it's still everyone in their own space. Misshapen. Everyone's in their own space, no one's overlapping, and the likelihood of two people going for the same ball is lower. Now, what I will say about two people going for the same ball, going from different directions at the same ball is usually okay because you end up in a different spot from your teammate, which means that you're going to be coming back at the ball again from different directions. That's usually okay. You have more chances of hitting the ball and getting it out of the way. And this could just, it doesn't even have to be like drastically different directions. It doesn't have to be one person coming back at their net and the other person moving forward. I mean, just slightly off on the angle, this guy and this guy are going to end up in different spaces, and that double commit's not as bad. Now, two people coming at it from the same direction, that's going to be where the problem is because both of you are going to end up basically in the same space. If somebody is launching from the ground straight up, this is straight up, and somebody is launching at more of a 45-degree angle, that is also a double commit that I would say we should try and stay away from. One of you should spin off and try and boost back down to the ground. Try not to have both of you do that because now you've left the ball open for everyone else. So what can you do as the two-man if the one-man's clear or pass off the backboard fails? I'll give you what I do. as often as possible, I will actually rotate back to a boost or two and try and put myself right back into that same position, but maybe 1 or 2 seconds later. And what I will do is I will let the 3-man try and collect up that ball, and maybe he can get a square pass, or maybe he can get a diagonal pass straight from the midfield. Maybe he can bounce it off the backboard, and then that's my opportunity to strike again. So I still remain in that same role of the striker or the shooter or somebody that's in the center of the field as that option. And you can get into that space very quickly. If you were the 1-man and you came through on a pass that didn't work, you can rotate through, grab this back corner boost, and you can potentially become the 2-man just from the opposite side of the field as somebody else moves in and as somebody else moves out. Or if you need to, you can move out, this person can stay. It just depends on the angles and how your team is defending and playing and positioned. I will say midfield defense is super important because it's the difference between whether or not your team has sustained pressure on offense or your team is actually playing back on defense. This midfield defense is an area that you should want to inhabit, and when you don't have possession of the ball, it's where you want to be so that the other team has to come and break through you. This is I think similar in basketball to like a full court press. Now we're not pressing all the way up into their faces, but we're holding a space, we're holding a zone that they have to break through in order to push into our zone. And if we have 2 people in this zone, then one person can play it off the sidewall and the second person can follow that up. One person can disrupt it and the second person can see how the disruption went and follow up the play. So what you're wanting to do is, as the other team is taking the ball, dribbling down, if you get up in their faces, then they have to flick it, they have to pass it, they have to do something, or there's a 50-50, the ball goes straight up in the air. Well, this person that did the challenge is likely not going to be able to get to that ball again. They've made the challenge, they've done what they can to disrupt this person from dribbling, and that's where the second person swoops in and tries to take over wherever the ball might have gone. Didn't see it post twice, so it says just after this down for review. Yeah, I'm absolutely planning on doing it. I just wanted to get through a few of the things that I talk about a lot. And I think the final topic that I want to talk about is communication. And the theme of communication I want to get across is actually no. Talk about communication in just a second. I want to talk about small pads. It takes 10 seconds for a big boost to spawn. It takes 4 seconds for the small pad to spawn. You can go over multiple small pads and collect the first one that you collected again before a big boost will often spawn, even the first time. So if you see somebody grab your big boost, by all means, grab up some small pads and just hang out in the play. I really need people to start becoming comfortable with 30 to 40 boost and try and keep themselves in that 30 to 40 boost range more frequently. If you're always constantly in the 0 to 30 boost, you are almost a detriment to your team because you can't make as fast of plays. You're constantly unable to reach the ball or make a good hit on the ball. Now, if you're in that 30 to 40 sweet spot, you're kind of always collecting boost, using some boost, collecting the next boost, using some boost, until finally you're in a position where you can make a shot or make a pass or whatever it is that you need to do. Problem with the 100 boost is they can put you so far out of the play. If you rotate out and you see this mid boost is gone, if you rotate to the back boost and your team is up on offense, you've now just created too much separation for you and your team, and you put your team at a disadvantage. So I really like playing on small boosts, learning the small boost paths and what's the best way to keep yourself at that 30 to 40 range, if not higher. You can collect up small pads and make it to 100. You don't have to pick up a 100 pad in order to make it to 100. You can completely put yourself at 100 boost just by picking up small pads. in your rotation up on offense, if the one man is pushing the ball and you are the two man and you want to play near him, you could tell him, hey, I'm with you, or something along those lines. You can be grabbing up these small pads and being in a nice lane where he has good visibility of you and you're in the play with him. Alternatively, you could say, I'm far post, and this puts you in a really good far post rotation. The ball, if it bounces off this backboard, you've got a great angle to read that. It's so much harder to read it coming from the same side, but it's really, really easy to read it from the back side. So if you're grabbing up this lane of boost, I mean, holy shit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pads times 12. I mean, we're looking at easy ways to get 84 boost. And now you're probably going to be using some of that boost to get upfield. So you're still going to be at 50 to 60 or so in order to make that play, get it up into that position, and maintaining those boost lanes. You can kind of just circle around midfield and collect up some pads and be ready for that two-man position. I would say if I am rotating back and I see that this boost is taken and my team is up on offense, I will sometimes come to this pad and then I will rotate upfield. Sometimes grabbing this more center pad if I need to. This gives me the option of having 30 boosts or so, and if the defense takes over possession, they are going to break out onto offense. At least I'm in the center of the field and I can force them to the corner. Whereas if they break out onto offense and I'm already in the corner, now I have to gain space to try and cut down and do a shadow defend, and that's so much more difficult to do. Some people talk about the beelining it back. I've made this point before in other seasons. If you are on the ball's over here, this would be the A line, this would be the B line, and the far side would be the C line. Sometimes that helps people kind of understand where you are positionally. I personally don't use that in my comms, but it is an option, and some people talk about it. I think Rob Wobwob still talks about taking the B line back to goal. And it's not that all of those boosts are always going to be available, but it keeps you in the center of the field and it keeps you collecting a couple of pads so that you can maintain a small boost. Alright, last point, comms. So you can give out the typical comms of positioning. I'm left mid. Your boost count, I'm 0 boost, I'm 100 boost, I'm small boost, I have enough boost to make the next play, and then I'm out, or I'm out of boost, I'm rotating out. Those are all really good because they give your team awareness of what you have, where you are. But also, you can set expectations. I'm upfield left waiting for a boomer. Okay, so now that's told your team, I'm waiting for a long clear downfield, and if you hit it to me, I will not rotate out of downfield back to defense. I will try and stay in this position until that ball comes. If I see something break down, or if they say, no, I can't get it, then I rotate back. But until then, I'm just going to kind of linger and give space to my team and giving them an option to hit the ball. It's something I also do on somebody's dribble upfield. I say, hey, I'm with you on the right, can pass it. Now, what if they take the shot and then they say, oh man, I should pass it? I'm going to say, no, take the shot. The shot was good. I can clean up the shot potentially. The pass is also good, but it's not necessarily a shot, and sometimes shots are what we need in a game. You're not scoring unless you're taking shots, so a pass doesn't necessarily get you that. Maybe it gets you a better angle at a shot. But what am I when I'm over here? I'm an option. You can fake the pass to me and take the shot. You can fake the shot and pass to me. Either way, you can bait out the goalie. By me having my presence here, that forces the goalie to take into consideration the presence of me. We now have a 2v1 instead of just a 1v1, and that gives you so many more options. So having the option to pass is extremely important. If you do not get the pass, don't be upset at your teammate because you are an option again. The last point, though, is quarterbacking. And you can look this up and see how other teams and other sports utilize quarterbacking. But basically, you can call the play how you want it. You can say, I'm back post. You can move upfield and go get mid boost. You can move upfield and play off of your teammate, your other teammate. You two can move up onto offense. I'm last back. Or, hey, I'm going to turn up the field. Can you rotate last back? Or two people are in a corner. Hey, you guys need to get out of that corner so I can move in. So what you're doing is you're saying where you want people to go so that you can make your play. And depending on their ability and the way that you guys work in comms together, quarterbacking can be extremely helpful. Knowing that you were front post and somebody came back in back post, that you can move upfield is so important. Um, Knowing that you're low on the ground and somebody comes up on backboard is so important, because then you know that if the ball goes high, you can say, you've got that, as like a question, and the person that's on the backboard can say, yeah, I got it. And then you can stay on the ground, or you can push up field, or you can go get boost, because you have reliance on them and their ability to get the ball. And if they screw up, the onus is on them. It's not your responsibility to clean up their mistakes because they said that they would get the ball. And if something really goes wrong, you get scored on, but it's okay. We move on from that. We learn from that. That person will say, maybe I'm not so good on the backboard. It's something I'm going to need to work on. Or maybe you should have gone on the backboard and I should have stayed low. Just different things that you and your team can work on together. But quarterbacking is letting your team know where they can go by directing them, directing traffic, telling people how to play or where to go. Hey, can you bang that off the backboard so that I can read it? That's quarterbacking. It's calling the play instead of just calling out positional information or facts about where you are, or facts about your boost, or facts about the other team's boost even. Um, So that's a hugely important thing. Another important thing that you can do is call out what you see somebody else doing. That guy's really good at going for double taps off the backboard. We gotta break that down and make sure that we disrupt that. We have to put somebody on the backboard to block those. This guy's really good at dribbling. We have to close down on, make sure that he has to flick it over one of us and the other person can take over that play. We have to shut down that space. We cannot give him that space at that time. This guy over here, he's only good if he has a lot of boost, so we can't let him get boost and then get back on defense. We have to boost starve him, because when he plays with 0 to 30 boost, he's one of the worst people on the field. But when he has 60 to 100 boost, or he has 100 and he just went up the wall, then he's going to ceiling shot it on us, and he's so much better than us at ceiling shots that we can't stop him. So we have to make sure he's boost starved or demoed or whatever it might be. So knowing and being analytical of the other team is something that can be really helpful and is a big plus in comms.